Kia ora, my name's Cedric Waitere. I come from a small town in New Zealand called Whangaroa or Raglan. I'm currently here as a humanitarian aid worker and have been here since early 2023 and then again last year in 2024 April. I've been currently here on the ground, my second round for I think this will be the 16th, 17th month, and continue to provide the work out here that I do, which is primarily driving, the supply of humanitarian aid, and up into the more recent times of extractions and evacuations of refugees brought out from the combat towns near the contact lines out there um, in, in the area of Dnipro Oblast, and in the region. Um, so basically, I am a contract worker to Ukraine Aid Direct. Um, my reasons for coming to Ukraine have changed over time and did change very quickly. I originally came here to help repatriate a fallen Kiwi soldier by the name of Dominic Abilene, who was killed in Avdiivka in 2023. That was my original reason for coming, was just to help out with the repatriation of that fallen soldier. Unfortunately, not understanding the Ukrainian laws, this was not going to be the case after I had arrived in country the first time round in 2023. However, that led me on to returning to Ukraine under as a volunteer aid worker, which I immediately started out with UAid Direct as a temporary staff member, distributing medical aid supplies up and down mainly up and down the eastern borders of Ukraine, from anywhere from Kiev, Kharkiv, all the way through to Odessa. Um, as I say, I'm currently actually contracted to UAid as a full-time member, but that is basically where my groundings began here in Ukraine. Just being a driver, delivering the surgical equipment and that needed to outfit the surgical wards of a variety of hospitals throughout the front, including places such as Ivano-Frankivsky, Mykolaiv, Odessa, Kilia in the far south of Odessa region, Zaporizhia, and Kharkiv and Kiev, and a few other places in between to places such as the smaller towns of Pervomaisk. Um, so basically, I've been doing that type of work up until recent days. Um, Within the last few months, that I have been invited down into Dnipro, where I started out just by bringing an ambulance down. That was kindly donated by New Zealand St. John's, then donated to Kiwi Care run by Tenby Powell, who eventually got me to drive one down here to Dnipro to hand off to one of the military units. And from there, we met a few local organisations that were known to a good friend of mine, Owen Pomana, who introduced us to a little group down here. And from there onwards, we've been out doing evacuations and extractions within the Dnipro Oblast region. This being the more serious type work, we are going into the towns that have been currently hit by Russian artillery, FPV drones, cab glide bombs, and ballistic missiles on the odd occasion. Um, we are involved with a team called the White Angels, which is a policing unit, special police unit. And together we work side by side with them, conducting both extractions and evacuations. This has been a big eye opener for me, as I wasn't and haven't been involved in that particular work up until recent months, where now it's an everyday task for us to be going out there to some of the worst affected towns towards the contact lines. I find it very rewarding, can be quite demanding at times, and it is extremely high risk, as even more so now. There are more drones, FPV Mavericks out there that Russia deploys, and humanitarian, unfortunately, have become a higher target on the scale of things with the Russian aggression. So we are very mindful of our safety and security out there as we roll around between the towns and villages and cities. But very rewarding to be able to evacuate the children and extract the families, mothers, babushkas, dadushkas, from those combat towns or combat red zones, or there's a variety of names for these places. But the basically the towns and villages that are immediately threatened by the advancements of the Russian aggression. So basically that's been me in a nutshell. I do, however, work with a variety of NGOs throughout Ukraine, anywhere from Mission UK to UK Mission. They're two different organisations with very similar names, among a few others out there, such as Operation Change. Our Swedish brethren there, volunteers, awesome crew to work with, and also through our sponsors as well, Plebeian Helpers, Partners for World Health, and I can't remember the other one right now. Apologies. But yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell here. I've been everywhere from throughout Kherson, right through up to the far north, and everywhere in between, as is the nature of delivering medical supplies to hospitals, medical clinics, and other deliveries for other NGOs, with vehicles being provided to military units and other NGOs as well, that are transported throughout Ukraine to the not so nice areas.
So you said why you came and what you're doing now, but why did you stay? What's your motivation to continue?
Why did I stay? Could be answered several ways, but I guess for me, in my position, as I'm a single person, I do have a child back in New Zealand, but has been estranged for many, many years. My partner, we split up a long time ago. I guess I'm just in the best position to be able to provide and apply my skills and abilities, which I have learnt majority of them throughout in New Zealand. I served as an infantryman, 2nd West Battalion, RNZIR. Done law enforcement, worked in railways, construction and building, and many other jobs in between, Ministry of Fisheries, so on and so forth. So I have enough skills in that to be able to impart that on the good folk of Ukraine, and to use those skills and abilities to do the current humanitarian work that is involved, and there's a variety of it obviously here throughout Ukraine, and I have enough set of skills to be able to take on these tasks here in Ukraine. So I'm free, I'm available, I have skill sets that have come in very handy since I arrived to this current day, and I'm in a position to be able to do so for Ukraine. My upbringing, from my grandparents through to my parents, and even my siblings, have taught me how to have a bigger heart for a bigger world that we all live in. Whether you're Ukrainian, whether you're Papua New Guinea, whether you're Bougainvillean and East Timorese, so on and so forth, it doesn't matter who you are. I've been raised to look after everyone that comes within my sphere. And currently as it is, my sphere is here in Ukraine, and I'm more than happy to keep supporting the Ukrainians, to let them know they're not alone. They're absolutely not alone in this invasion It's been conducted by Russia, and that there are other people in the world that still care and will take the time out of their own lives, will sacrifice the things that we sacrifice, as many other volunteers, not just myself, have sacrificed to be here in Ukraine. And which this leads me on to thank those that have already supported me, such as OTP, thank you Lara, from the bottom of my heart, and all those others, Mike B, my friends and family back home, my other sponsors out there within the world network and the global community. I must thank you as well for able to provide the funding in it to keep me operating here on the ground, as I'm just one man that came from an average life in New Zealand of work, rest, work. But all you have provided that opportunity for me to stay and remain on the ground here in my current capacity, in which I absolutely thoroughly enjoy doing and looking after other people. I also give thanks to our good Lord up above. God, praise his name, that he also guides and gives me the strength, courage and wisdom to be able to maintain my abilities, my stance here in Ukraine, for the greater community of all, for the suffering that goes on in this country, though it may be worldwide, the acute suffering that I see here on a regular basis, some things just can't be explained. And as long as our God provides me that wisdom, that guidance, I foresee myself being able to continue to do this kind of work in and around Ukraine and for the people of Ukraine. You may see me, I haven't spoken anything of supporting the military. They have support, and enough support as far as I'm concerned, from many other sectors of society and the global community. I'm more than happy to look after those that are affected by war, that are affected by this invasion. And we could never have enough people to look after those that are unseen, the unseen horrors, the unseen side of war, and the outcomes that is produced up into this current day here, with families having to scurry for their lives out of their own communities that they'll live through for many, many years of their life, for their whole life. To see them having to scurry out there at a moment's notice because there's a drone coming, there's artillery being fired onto their houses, their villages, their towns. So I am thankful for our God up above, who is able to provide this opportunity to do what I do and do what I enjoy doing. I was a volunteer back home for 20 plus years within the community of Whangaroa, Raglan, and I will continue to be when I return home from here. So this is another day at the office for me, an enjoyable one, but with a whole new set of circumstances and ethnicities to deal with here, being the Ukrainians, which in my mind are very resilient, strong people and race here, and they deserve to have their freedoms, they deserve peace. Calm and tranquility is the life that they once knew before this invasion, and it needs to be returned and restored with the help of the global community and all those volunteers out here that come to Ukraine. The hand on the heart, we go forth and we do this work.
That's wonderful. Thank you for everything that you do, Cedric, and may God bless you in